Hey guys, it's Baby Sass. A quick note before we actually start the podcast. About 26-ish minutes, maybe a little later depending on how editing goes. Mama Sass and I talk about ketamine and what it is, and I say antiseptic when I mean anesthetic. Um, so yeah, I will say antiseptic a lot, and I will switch between antiseptic and a horse tranquilizer. I very much mean anesthetic, not antiseptic. I am so sorry. But anyway, on with the podcast. Hello, beautiful people. Good afternoon.
Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? Welcome back to another episode of Soaps and Sass.
GH edition.
I am Mama Sass.
And I am Baby Sass.
And we are super excited. This is episode 24. This is one week. June 16th to 20th.
Yes, indeed. And this week, we're going to switch things up a little bit with the recap. So hopefully they're significantly shorter. And we have more time to discuss what we watched over the course of this week.
Yes. All right. Shall I jump right in?
Please.
Okay. So Monday's episode, Jason is a thorn in Drew's side. Good for you, Jason.
Amen.
Carly shows her appreciation to Brennan, and Lulu offers an apology. Tracy meets with Martin, and Gio is troubled by what he overhears. On Tuesday, Sasha is alarmed. Curtis makes Michael an offer. Emma gets the upper hand, and Jocelyn pitches an idea to Vaughn. Lulu is pleasantly surprised. On Wednesday, Elizabeth makes a revelation. Willow faces a major decision. Michael and Sasha have a frank talk. Trina and Kai get big news, and Curtis rebuffs Portia. Thursday, Sunny wants answers from Sidwell. Lulu and Isaiah meet for drinks. Michael catches up with Jason. Jordan opens up to Anna, and Marco is conflicted.
Dun, dun, dun.
On Friday, Emma and Gio have a memorable encounter. Ava offers counsel to Nina. Christina warns Michael. Willow makes an announcement, and Tracy feels cornered. That is the week in a nutshell.
Yep.
All right, where do we want to start?
Let us start with just the elephant in the room.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I think the people want us to talk about Drew and Willow.
Okay.
Yes. So Drew and his, what was it?
Savior complex?
The thorn. Jason being a Drew and Thorn side is because...
A thorn in Drew's side?
Thank y'all. Actually, really, Drew is a thorn in everybody's side. Really.
Yeah, but you said Jason is a Drew and Thorn side. I'm like, well, we're not talking about Bold and Beautiful. So.
Well, you know what I mean. Everybody's a thorn in everybody's side, but really, Drew is the thorn, and Drew is the gift that keeps on giving that nobody wants.
Woo!
Anyway, so Drew reaches out to Jason saying, I want you to send a message to Michael, and things don't go as planned.
No, they do not.
And in the end, where Drew is going to be like, I'm going to leave Willow, he decides to double down, stick with Willow, and tell Jason to tell Michael that he is going to lose his kids. Essentially. And then Drew meets with Martin. Martin has this idea that we don't learn about until later. And the idea is him going to Willow and saying, we have a way to get your kids back. Said way, marry me. And all of us, and I hope when I say all of us, I mean all of us who watch this show, looked at this man, looked at that woman, looked at our garbage bins and just threw up. I hope that is your reaction. I hope to God, because that was mine. Because I could not. And
sorry to disappoint. It wasn't mine. But it was close enough. It was like, are you out of your mind?
And Willow, after being shady in her own questionably shady ways, the next day says to Drew, I don't think that's a good idea. And still somehow, in his manipulative ways, calls Martin. Martin comes over, tells Willow the idea, and she's like, let's do it.
Yeah. Well, basically, Drew said, well, let's make sure you have all the facts. And
you didn't have all the facts.
Because watch, she's going to marry the man, not going to get her kids back, and more secrets are going to spill out, and she's going to be like, I married who now?
Sorry, I don't have words. All I can revert to is these
primal feelings,
primal utterings.
There you go.
Yes, exactly. Primal is a very good word, because I'm so distressed on this young woman's behalf. Fictional character aside, just how can you be so deluded? I don't understand. Now, pardon me. That being said, you and I keep throwing this theory back and forth, and I'm sure many of the listeners and many fans who haven't been on the message boards this week, I'm sure many people are thinking Willow's dissociating.
Yeah.
I think Willow is developing multiple personality disorder.
Or dissociative identity disorder, commonly now known as DID, which is what I think. I'm just hoping the writers write it correctly, because media has not had a good history of portraying people with DID correctly. Yeah. And so I'm hoping they do. And so far what I'm seeing of what Willow is going through, because and this is more of just examples of why we assume this is happening is, and this is more in regards to Daisy, is, and actually in one of the recap episodes we mentioned that Sasha was alarmed, which was Tuesdays, because when a nurse was bringing Daisy into Sasha's room, Sasha immediately started freaking out because she's like, that's not Daisy. Mm-hmm. And they eventually found her. And Lucas and Felicia are confused because they're like, this never should have happened. She was still wearing her ID bracelet. So
she was just in another bassinet.
Right? So there's no reason for them to have wheeled the wrong baby into Sasha's room. So there's that, and then there's...
Again, if the bassinet had the wrong name on it, and I say again because we spoke about this earlier this week.
Right.
If they just switched bassinet, so the baby was just in the wrong bassinet, then it makes sense.
But yeah, we're assuming Willow might have snuck out of her room and swapped the babies. But again, I think Mom might be right on that front, but, who knows?
Yeah. Yeah, because Willow was still at the hospital at that point, and I do think she left her room and did that.
Right.
And she was talking about how tired she is.
Right, which I was going to tie in.
Cutting you off, yeah.
So after Sasha got back to the Quartermains, her and Michael were talking a little bit, and then Michael brought in Wiley and Amelia to sit with Daisy, which I think Amelia has her first spoken lines in that episode, because, she's not really spoken. So, yay on that. But also, as the episode is ending, you see a figure, well, not a figure, but you see someone is watching Sasha, Michael, and the kids through the window.
Yeah.
And then lastly, later on in the weekend, I think it was Friday's episode, Thursday or Fridays, I believe it was Thursdays. Willow, Sasha and Michael were having another conversation, and then she was putting Daisy to bed. And so Daisy's in her bassinet in her crib. Sasha leaves, and then later on someone walks into Daisy's room, and simply they just turn on the aerial mobile, and then I assume leave, because when Sasha comes in to check later, there's no evidence that anyone's been in there except for the mobile being on.
Right, with the music and everything.
Right. And then later, again, Willow at Drew's place walks into the room. She's kind of sluggish. She's a little confused. And she says to Drew, like, I know I slept, but I'm still so tired. And so I know, based off of watching this YouTube channel by the name of Dissociated, and they're a person in England who live with the DID, and they educate people on it. They've mentioned, like, when they end up having switches with other alters in their body, they say the main host of the body, if they switch with someone else, like a protector, when they switch back, they don't know what happened. They are confused. Sometimes the body will feel tired, and these are signs that Willow is exhibiting right now. So, like I said, I'm really interested to see how the writers, if this is the realm that Willow is going in, and based off information that you've given me, Mom, about Willow's life living in the cult and growing up in the cult, now I have discovered, because I was not around for that storyline.
Oh man,
I was not around for that.
Listen, we should show you some episodes. The cult leader, mainly what I want you to see is the cult leader taking hot licks. So if you ever hear me talk about somebody getting beat like Shiloh, you know what I'm talking about.
So essentially, so I wasn't around for the storyline of Willow being in the cult, growing up in the cult, as I have discovered Harmony. So I'm like, based off that, I can fully and totally understand Willow having developed DID as a child, not being diagnosed with it, especially since after getting out, she did not receive any psychiatrist help, psychological help or therapy for that. So I can totally understand her developing it. I can totally understand her not being aware that there are other alters in her head trying to protect her and all that stuff, because, you know, the point of having DID is that you're not supposed to be aware that you have it unless something... Yeah, the whole mental block that the body puts up is that you're not supposed to be aware that it's there.
Okay, maybe that's the difference between dissociative identity disorder and multiple personality disorder.
Well, it's technically the same thing. Again, they just they've labeled it properly.
Well, because you said one is not aware of the other, right? And I think based on what we're seeing, because I believe Liz experienced a form of dissociative identity disorder at one point. And I feel there's another character, and I'll need to do that research. But sometimes the protector identity is very aware of what the others are doing.
Yes.
They just mind their business until they need to step to the front, right?
Right, and but it's more so like the host, so the main alter who controls the body and all that stuff. So let's say Willow is the main alter, and like that's the primary personality. She is not aware, so that's the body, and that's why there's I call it the mental block or the wall. Is that so? It's the body's way, it's the brain's way of protecting her from the trauma that she experienced in the cult. So that's why she has DID. It's like so she's not supposed to know to protect herself. So I think this trauma with the kids is now crumbling that wall, and so she will discover it until her alters, merge and she's stable and all of that. This is gonna
well this is the thing, right? Because we're also seeing
I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm seriously just basing this off the information I've gathered from this YouTube channel that I watch. Please check it out. It's a great informative channel. If there's any information that I've gotten wrong, I am so sorry. I'm going based off what I remember and what I learned from the channel.
That's fair. And I also am not an expert on it. So take what I say with a grain of salt. And this is just from observation.
Yes.
But one of the things we are seeing is occasionally Willow is behaving very much in an automaton-like manner. Like she's very much on autopilot. Her eyes are vacant. She's not really there. There's moments, and I don't know if this is intentional. I need to watch a little bit more. But there's some moments where she looks very, very pasty.
Yes.
And that's typically when she's in her automaton kind of mode.
Like kind of like when she's dissociating, so she's not... Well, she's not fully there, but she's there kind of...
Yeah, she's just completely spacey, as if, they've given her whatever drug to calm her down. But then there's other moments where her skin has color.
Yeah, that might totally just be the...
Exactly. It might just be a lighting thing, right? But it's something I've noticed.
Right, because I think even like... when she went to the Metro Court, and I believe it was Friday's episode, because as she said to Nina, she's like, Wiley was having a swimming lesson, I called you here because I was hoping to run into them, and yeah. And then when she saw Wiley's shirt, she kind of...
well, that came up after, right? It was a series of things. Right,
but when Christina came over and was Christina was very much like, no sudden movements, because it's like...
Christina was good with that.
Like, I would... The way I can describe Willow... like at least right now in her fragile state, but especially in that specific moment,
the word, very fragile,
was like she was like a deer that you don't want to startle. So Christina was like, I don't want to set her off. I don't want to freak her out. So I'm going to move really slowly to take this shirt from her. And Willow was just very much like, she was frozen. She wasn't there. She was like,
and trying to express herself. So I wonder if it wasn't like a mental conflict going on, because she was trying to tell Christina, please tell the kids I love them.
But she just couldn't get the words out.
Exactly, which I thought was really, really interesting. And Christina clearly was sensing something was up, and she's like, I'll tell them. It's okay,
like, yeah, it's like, I know, I
got
get
you. I got you.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
It was only after that right? Because Willow had this moment where she was almost cursing Michael's name, like he better not have forgotten that Wiley has a swimming lesson, and then being adamant that the shirt that she found belonged to Wiley, which if Michael forgot the swimming lesson, that can't possibly belong to Wiley, right? And she didn't seem to kind of make the logical jump
and I think Nina was trying to, but Willow just wasn't letting her get it out.
Right, and then Nina said, "Hey, did you set up this meeting here because you thought you would run into the kids?" And again, very automaton, very neutral, very robotic. Yes, of course. Like, I don't even understand what your question is. It's almost like watching Data on Star Trek. I know you don't watch Star Trek, but she was just very robotic, matter of fact, monotone.
Yeah. And like, it was interesting because you had even said, and I noticed this again later at the end of the episode, and again, this is Friday's episode, is so she told Drew, like, after she was like kind of, she was telling us, like, yeah, I thought about it, and I don't think that's the right move, because as she mentioned before, it's like, you're the reason I lost my kids. I don't know if that's going to help.
She said that super matter of fact, not accusatory, not cold.
She did, but also the way she did it was like, it's as if she's like, I guess herself when she's not around Drew, and like she can make up her own mind and her own decisions. It was, and I say that in like, but yeah, it's like she said it so very matter-of-factly, like she was very much aware of what happened, but then it happened again when she told Nina, it's like, oh, no, I'm going to fix it once you and I are married. And then like just stalks off. But
well,
then,
I don't even know stalk, because again, the way she left was very robotic. It's almost like her hands were still in front of her, almost sleepwalking.
Right, but more in the sense of like, she didn't even wait for Nina to say something. No. She just left. She's like,
exactly.
Drew and I are getting married. And just like, bye, that's it. That's all I had to tell you, and left.
Yeah.
And then, but it's like, that was totally different. Like the behavior was totally different compared to when after Willow and Drew had heard what Martin had to say about the situation, and then they're talking, and she's like, it was that Willow that was talking to Drew after, was like, no, you're so right. Yes, we should do it. Marry me. Was like the Willow we'd seen before she lost custody of the kids and everything.
Like, exactly.
So it's like, I think, because you had also said, I think she's dissociating in those moments. So it's like, you kind of like, you can see when the, like, I wouldn't even say a different alter takes over, but it's like,
there's just a flipping behavior.
Yeah. It's like a switch is just flipping. It's like, it's like, wow.
Right. And so exactly that. Those are really good examples. So when she was at the pool, and what I felt was very automatonic mode, robotic mode, she was very pale. When she was back at the house and she was talking to Drew, and it's like, yeah, let's do this, let's get married, she had all kinds of color.
Right.
And so it's something I'm going to keep an eye on because it's really struck me.
You and I both. Like, I think for me, I will be focusing on, like, how are the writers doing this? How is she portraying this? Is this really giving DID potential, like, vibes? And again, I'm going this based off of what I've seen off the YouTube channel. I don't personally know anyone with DID. So I can't even say, but it's like based off what I've seen from someone on the internet who does have it. It's like I'm comparing the two to see what similarities there are. So
yeah, and that's fair. I just hope you're not disappointed because I believe they are setting up that storyline.
I do
soap opera storyline versus reality doesn't always,
right. And so it's like like I said, I'm like, I just want to see how well they do it. I don't think I'll be mad in any way.
Yeah.
I think I might be more critical than anything because it's like I recognize that reality does not always translate well into fiction and TV and movies and stuff like that, and it's like it's not as exciting. So I'm like keeping all of that in mind. It's just I really want to see like how authentic will they get? Like how close to the real deal will they get? Still keeping artistic liberties and stuff like that.
Yeah. Now, I want to stay there and kind of transition into another storyline because, as you mentioned, there was somebody outside the house watching Sasha and Michael and the kids. Then there was somebody in the bedroom. What happened to all the cameras that Tracy had installed when Drew was banned from the property?
Apparently, they're fake.
She put in all these cameras.
Apparently, they are fake.
So nobody's detecting anybody on the property.
Apparently, they are fake.
And then if I transition into the other storyline, right? Drew supposedly framed her. Well, sorry, excuse me. Not Drew supposedly framed her. Drew did frame her for the ketamine. How do we not have cameras of Drew on the property? You said 8 times they're fake. I heard you. It just, writers, do better. Because it was a big plot point about these cameras going in. So how it hasn't caught anything, I don't understand. She figured out, oh, it's when Drew sailed across on his boat, blah, blah, blah. Like, I would think you would have cameras at the gate, cameras by the garage, cameras
in
at
the garage.
doors. Like, all your access points.
I'm assuming you're having cameras in the garage because you got expensive cars.
Right? Cameras in the nursery. We already know they're there. So are we also to believe that Daisy's not in the nursery? We have a whole different room that Daisy's using?
It looks so.
So the nanny cam that Michael had put in no longer works? So we didn't see who was in there with the baby? Like,
For me...
Primal noises, I'm sorry.
Yeah, for me, my question is how... If this is Willow sneaking in, doing whatever she's doing with Daisy, one, what is her... Like, what is her motive? Because as we know so far, like, just going into, like, if she did, hypothetically, switch Daisy in the nursery at the hospital, what was the point of just switching the name?
I don't think
like, the name tags or just switching the baby?
I
that's why I
don't
said
think that
hypothetically.
was an intentional thing.
That's why I say, hypothetically, if she did, what was the point of that? That might have been a
right,
fluke.
but well, we will find out. But I am confident, I'm willing to put a nickel down, I'm confident it's going to turn out that it was Willow. And again, I don't think Willow's intending anything malicious, because everything we have seen about Willow, she is very maternal, she's very caring.
Yes.
She brought this child into the world, so I think it's just genuine concern. I think she's missing her child. This is a child that Michael has, so I think, regardless of anything else, I think she's still very much in love with Michael, even though they grew apart.
Okay.
So I think she just wants to have a child close to her, and same thing with going into the house, with turning on the mobile so the child is cared for. I don't think it was an intentional thing that she put it in the basket or in the wrong bassinet. Maybe somebody came along and startled her.
Okay, fair enough. And going off on the and still kind of where I was going before. It's like, okay, so you sneak into the baby's room, turn on the mobile, everything, yada yada. My question is, I get the Quartermain estate is huge. I get that, but how big is this house? Like, where are the adults in this house that nobody saw this woman? Like, not a maid, and I was gonna say a cook, but that's Sasha, but not even Yuri. Like, how did no one see Willow sneak up on the property, walk up in the house? Like, I don't understand how no one saw her.
She lived there, so she would know the access points. The place is supposedly massive, right? Because you got Olivia and Ned that have a wing to themselves. You got Chase and what's her face that apparently have a wing to themselves. And
yet somehow Lulu knew where to find Brook Lynn in her room, because that's shady.
I can't even talk about that.
But anyway, but yeah. Also, how you know Sasha was gonna leave her in the nursery? How you know she wasn't gonna take her and put her in her room with her? Because honestly,
she didn't. She was peeping at the window and saw her go. Is what I think. I don't know, or maybe just walking around.
Because honestly, who knows? In all fairness, I am honestly and totally surprised that Sasha does not have Daisy sleeping next to her in a crib. Especially with what happened to Liam.
You think she'd be more protective than that?
Yes, protective, maybe but more just
room?
But more just so to make sure she's like, actually there, because I know you with, again, my sibling, because my sibling was a preemie, it's like you were very much like, are they breathing? Like you were checking up on them like crazy. So
I was so paranoid.
Exactly. So I'm surprised Sasha, I'm glad they did not put Sasha in that. Because of her past trauma, she's going to be like a very helicopter-y parent. Yeah. I'm so glad for that. But even still, you were when you were giving birth, you were so worried because she was, again, Daisy was preemie. When you got the wrong baby in the hospital, you freaked out.
Right. Yes.
So I'm honestly surprised that Sasha is not very much I kind of need to have her on my hip, but not to the degree that it's I'm suffocating my baby, not literally, but more in the sense.
Yeah.
It's I'm honestly surprised the baby is not in her own crib next to Sasha as Sasha's sleeping. I'm honestly surprised on that one.
Yeah, me too. It's odd, but again, clearly it's for the plot point. But make it make sense, right? Just try to have some kind of continuity, logical sense in there. I know it's fiction, but come on, try to keep us with you.
Yeah, there was another point I was going to make.
Tell us that the cook's living quarters are super small, so it's like an adjoining room. So just whatever. Sometimes a throwaway line makes all the difference, right? Tracy, since I mentioned her, Tracy and Curtis and Michael are now teaming up to bring down Drew.
Yeah.
Which I'm super excited about.
I'm curious to see how that's going to go because, and this is actually what I wanted to bring up, is because Michael came in and they're like, oh, the ketamine and all this. And Michael's like, ketamine? The horse tranquilizer?
Okay, well, let's go back before that. Right?
Or horse antiseptic, but yeah.
Because if we go back before that, Curtis tried to resign. Michael said no.
I was going to say, I'm going to give him an offer he can't refuse. Michael refused!
Right? So Michael refused the resignation. Curtis explained why he wanted to resign. Michael's like, oh!
Use that to your advantage.
We can team up. You don't need to separate.
It's like
we'll work together.
It's like you've already been doing.
Yeah.
You've already have a word to your advantage. Keep using that.
Absolutely. Curtis went to talk to Tracy. Tracy explained some of what was going on. Curtis was like, no, you actually should do what he wants because it'll lull Drew into this false sense of security.
It's like, I'm off looking for Miss Hooker, man.
Yeah.
Ma'am, not man. Hooker, ma'am. But if I can't find her...
we got other plays we can do. And then I guess they loop Michael in. And so that whole thing when they met with Martin at the end...
You think it's a ploy?
I 100%... Whoops, I perky pigged there. I 100% think that is a setup.
Because it was so funny because Michael, as I said earlier, Michael came in, they're talking about, oh, Drew's setting me up with the ketamine and we need to figure out how to get through this, whatever. And Michael's like, ketamine, the horse antiseptic? And then it went to commercial and I'm like, oh my goodness, how could I forget that ketamine is a horse antiseptic? Because I'm like, y'all have horses.
Is antiseptic the word you want?
Well, that's what he said, but I'm pretty sure it's a horse tranquilizer.
Tranquilizer, not cleaner. Antiseptic is like a disinfectant.
Right. But that's what Michael said. So I'm like,
okay.
But I'm pretty sure ketamine is a horse tranquilizer.
Okay.
Yeah. So tranquilizer, antiseptic.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure.
Right, but for me, I'm like, right, y'all guys have horses. Y'all can come up with a whole ass thing about it because it's like Cody, like literally, he's like, oh, Cody's car was having car trouble, so he borrowed my car. That's why the ketamine was in there, and I guess a bottle just fell out.
Absolutely, they have a defense.
Yeah,
I think that's
where they're going with it.
Yeah,
but I can't. But honestly, the fact that I completely forgot that ketamine was a horse-related drug completely like slipped my mind. And if it hadn't, I would have been coming up with theories a long time before they came up with them.
Right. Okay, so now, very briefly, because I know it's a storyline we don't really care about, but talking about Curtis and trying to find Jacinda and everything, we know that Kai overheard. Mm-hmm. And by the way, Kai got
bad.
What do you call it? Successful failure news?
Yeah, they got news. It's about his surgery, and the surgery was a successful failure, meaning the surgery worked in the sense that it was able to strengthen Kai's spine, which was the goal. But not enough to allow him to play football. Hence the failure part of the surgery.
Right.
I didn't realize we can call surgery a successful failure.
I didn't either. That was new. I don't think that's a term I'll be adopting, like culture of whatever. But anyway, but we know Kai overheard the conversation between Curtis and Portia last week. So what do you think Kai's going to do with that information now that he's partnering with Drew as an intern?
It's going to be so freaking interesting. I think he's going to hold on to that for now, but I think he's going to... It won't be long before... Like, either he'll talk to Curtis about it, or he'll just tell Drew, or whatever's going to happen. But Kai is going to spill that information.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, I mean, we know he already told Trina. I'm just thinking... I can't see him talking to Curtis about it. I really can't. I think he is very loyal to Drew, and that's going to stay that way.
And I think he did talk to Curtis at some point... After, because I know he talked to Portia, and then he obviously talked to Trina. I feel like he talked to Curtis. I could be very wrong, and I probably am. But yeah.
Okay.
And honestly, I'm like, when Drew offered him the position, the intern position the first time, and he's like, let me think about it. And then he's like, I'm not going to take it because, Trina, I want to be with you. I don't want to move to DC and all this stuff.
Yeah. And
then he's like, Drew, I can't do it because I want to be with Trina, wherever Trina is. Two things happened. One, I was so glad he turned him down.
Yeah.
But then
so short-lived.
Drew and his manipulative ways are like, oh, we can work around your schedule, do what we need to do to make this work for you. And he's like, oh, really? Then bet, let's do this. Mm-hmm. And secondly, when Kai had said, oh, I want to be where Trina is, I thought Drew was gonna pull some shady mess and get Trina to go to DC.
Yep, I'm so with you. That's what I thought too. I was convinced that's what he was gonna do.
You technically thought he was gonna go to Portia and have her convince Trina.
Yeah, well, like, that was the shady mess that I was gonna do for her to go.
That is not gonna work.
Yeah, so I did think that was gonna happen. Do we want to? So go ahead.
Sorry, I want to briefly go over Elizabeth.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. because okay, so it was Wednesday. Elizabeth decided to talk to what's her face, Christina, because and I like how she said this because Elizabeth had called Christina over to talk. Christina was a little confused, but she's like, okay, and then Liz. The Liz we have been seeing the past few weeks has been the Liz I've been seeing on TV since I've been watching General Hospital on and off, more so on these days, and then a switch flipped.
Yes,
they flipped the switch with Elizabeth on Wednesday because, oh my goodness, she had this air, this look, this whole edgy, like pissed vibe about her.
Yes.
And basically, she said to Christina, "I know what you did. I know you cut Rick's brakes. I know you almost got us killed. I know Lucky knows because Lucky told me. And the only reason I'm talking to you about it now and not throwing you into jail is because Lucky is out of the country. And I don't want your family to have to deal with going to jail. But if you ever pull another stunt like this again, believe me, I will turn your white ass into the police."
Wow. There's some editorializing.
Yes. I took some liberties. I'm sorry.
Woo!
But that Elizabeth, Mom said that was the Elizabeth that was on TV before.
That's the Elizabeth we first met.
And I'm like,
I was here for it.
I like Nurse Elizabeth, but she's too meh.
Holier than thou.
I'm like, bring this Elizabeth back because I'm like, this Elizabeth is you almost got me killed, almost left my children without a parent. Well, more so Aiden.
Pretty much.
Aiden would have been an orphan because her other two kids have fathers. So he's like, you would have left pretty much my children without a parent. Jason and Lucky. Aiden ain't got no dad because technically he was adopted by Lucky from what I am told, but his biological father.
No. Aiden is Lucky's son.
What am I thinking?
That's what I was like, what?
Which one of Cameron?
Cameron would have been an orphan.
Thank you. Cameron. The one who I think can't act.
Yeah. Okay, well, this is it. Jake and Aiden, for all intents and purposes, would have been orphans because their fathers are busy doing whatever.
You're considered an orphan if both your parents are dead, right? And if their parents
aren't
dead,
I know.
So they're not.
I'm just saying, for all intents and purposes, because their fathers are off doing whatever foolishness and don't have time to mind a child.
Right.
So that's why I said for all intents and purposes, they won't actually be orphans.
I feel like Jake would be who knows where, but Aiden would be with his grandmother.
Yes, and I recognize that Cameron and Jake are basically grown men for.
Either way, point is, it's like, you almost left my children without a mother. I don't think so.
Right? Now, every so often we see this Liz when she has a conflict with Carly, but not to the same degree.
No.
Not at all to the same degree.
And I'm like,
so I was like, yes, Liz. Now,
we need to keep this Liz.
Yes, we do.
I'm like,
I want to see more of her.
Right. Because I'm like, again, I like Liz to a degree. But this Elizabeth is like, oh no, all bets are off now.
Right? And since we miss Epiphany, you can throw, this little dose of Epiphany type behavior.
This is like a Mama Bear situation. And I'm like, keep her in Mama Bear mode, please. Because she don't suffer no fools.
No, she don't.
And I need her to not suffer fools because she suffers fools too much.
The part that had me laughing was, Christina coming in, "Hey Liz, it's so good to see you. I'm happy to see you up and about." And Liz is like, "You better stop." And she's like, "I don't understand what you're talking about. I know what you did. I'm sorry." And Liz is like, "You cut the brake lines." It's like, yes, okay. So I don't know who you're trying to play with, little Christina. Make sure and know. Stop your nonsense.
For real.
Then, okay, because I'm going to go right into my what had me hot because it pertains to this.
Yep.
Over at the hospital, we see Rick looking for Liz. She's not there. Isaiah's talking to him. He's like, "Oh, she's not in today," and follows that up with Aiden and Lucky left the country. Who asked you to tell him anything? She give you a message? You suddenly start working for UPS or Pure Later, delivering packages and messages. Like, what did you tell him that for?
Which he then runs off to Portia and says, "Did I screw up?"
But even before that, even before that, Rick now starts asking more questions because you opened the door so wide.
You did.
Rick starts asking questions, and now you pissed off? You opened the door. Why wouldn't he ask you questions? And then you want to big up your chest. Well, Lucky ain't here, so I'm going to take care of Liz. I'm kind of like the man at her house or whatever nonsense you were spewing. Boy, please. Stop it.
Basically.
I was mad. So then Rick runs over to Liz's house and he's like, oh, I came to check on you because I heard Lucky's out of town. And Liz turned that same mama bear energy that she had on Christina. She turned that on Rick. It's like, oh, of course that's why you're here. Well, you know what? I've been taking care of myself for years and I don't need you. So you and the horse you came over to my house on, you can get to step in.
Right. Does she know Rick is blackmailing?
No.
Okay.
But again, Rick, she knows Rick is slimy. She understands Rick's game, so she's just putting him on notice, which is about time.
Mm-hmm.
Which is absolutely about time. And you know, it's not like she doesn't know that he's seeing in Ava, because that's not been a secret.
Right. I would like to quickly jump into a moment of comedy.
Go on.
I have two. The first one is Carly showing Brennan her appreciation.
I can't even chalk that up to comedy, but go on.
So
that was dumb. I don't even know what word that was.
I feel like dumb, but like dumb, but it's like just how it was just that. It was just that stupid. Right. So this first comedy moment, to show her appreciation, Carly, to show her appreciation for Jack Brennan and everything he did involving Michael and all of that, she gives him a wrench that says Jack of all trades because obviously he's a WSB agent and he fixes pipes. I'm
I'm severing my tongue when you open the door there.
I was about to make my own little joke.
Yeah, probably the same one. You open the door there, it's like, move right along, move along.
Right. I'm like, my family.
Move along.
It's like, y'all call me vulgar. I was about to be.
Moving.
My second comedy moment is, so Friday's episode, Gio and Emma are just throwing around a softball because we're getting to the annual
PCPD, whatever, the softball
Corinthos
tournament.
Coffee, Deception, and all of that competition of softball. And so they're throwing the ball around. And then this beagle just comes out of nowhere and starts rummaging through Gio's bag, runs off with a glove, and they chase after. And basically throughout the entire episode, Emma goes looking for the owner. Gio has conversations with Sunny. And when she comes back, Emma hands the dog to Gio, and Emma goes to take a picture of them for someone to claim the cutie pie. And Gio's like, "Are you talking about me or the dog?" And I say, and this is me as myself, say out loud in this moment, "I'll take you both. I will claim you both." Because
half of the free world.
Because I find Gio absolutely adorable. He needs all the love in the world, and in this moment, he needs it. But also, I love dogs, and that beagle is just absolutely adorable.
Yes.
Not my favorite breed of dog, but still adorable, and I will take the beagle. So that is my comedy moment, just for Gio just asking, "Who, me or the dog?"
Indeed.
And then also the side eye Emma kind of gives him.
Right. All right, I want to move on from there, and with the time we have remaining, I want to talk about the other the other hot storyline of the week. Lulu, Brook Lynn, Maxie.
Was that this week?
It was this week. It was.
Oh, it was. It was. Wait.
Yes, it was. I promise you it was. Maxie arranges for Brook Lynn to come over to the house and work. Concurrently, she arranges for Lulu to come over.
It was this week.
Yes, I just said that
Sorry,
twice.
no, I know it's because I remember I was sitting here and I was writing the recaps and I remember looking at Tuesdays and the photo was Maxie's face and her just in disbelief at what happened. So I'm like, yes.
So I can continue?
You may continue.
Thank you. So Maxie has arranged a get together or a peace talks, let's call it, between Brook Lynn and Lulu, but doesn't tell them that's what she's done. So each comes over for different reasons, not happy to see the other. They get into a row. Maxie's like, listen, y'all two need to straighten up and fly right. Y'all love the same people, and this nonsense has got to stop because this venom between the two of you is affecting these people. not the least of which are your sons, because they are brothers. And how do you think they're going to get on knowing their mothers can't get on? Brook Lynn says to Lulu, you owe me an apology.
Yeah, basically, you're right. I'm willing to put this behind us and I will accept your apology.
And Lulu's like, have you lost your mind? I'm not apologizing to you.
Don't worry about whatever.
I do owe somebody an apology, but it ain't you. I owe your son an apology. I don't know what it was.
Lulu said something.
Yeah, I can't remember what Lulu said to Brooklyn.
It set
but Brooklyn
off.
didn't even blink. Before the word was out of Lulu's mouth, good and proper, boy, Brooklyn delivered one Bensonhurst backhand. Oh my mercy. And then Maxie's like in shock, because like, this is not what I intended.
Lulu's
like,
in shock.
So she's like, yeah, maybe Brooklyn, you should go. Brooklyn's like, yeah, best believe. So Brooklyn takes off, and all Lulu can say is, she hit me! Girl!
I'm like,
you're lucky that you only got one thump. Because what if you were dealing with me? You'd still be on the floor.
And I'm surprised.
Still be on the floor.
And I'm surprised, Brooklyn. I'm surprised, Lulu, because the last time Brooklyn went to stop you, you stopped her. So you really didn't see her coming to hit you again?
No, that's what I'm saying. The words were not out of Lulu's mouth good and proper before that hand was in her face.
But let me tell you, I have to go back because I technically did miss the slap. I just heard it. And Lulu's face off to the side. Because let me tell you, the second I looked up at that screen and saw Lulu clutching her face, the biggest scream left my mouth saying, yes!
Because Lulu has been cruising for a bruising. Really and truly. Somebody need to give her some thumps. She didn't understand. But I will give it to Lulu. Lulu left there, because Maxie was like, you know what? I don't condone Brooklyn hitting you, but you're so out of order. You're so out of place, madam. You need to check yourself.
She's like, you're out of order, and you need to take
accountability for your behavior.
It's like you don't have to take accountability for all of it, but you definitely need to take accountability for your part in this.
Absolutely. So Lulu leaves there and goes to the pool and meets with Gio, who at first is just like, no, I'm sorry, I'm working. I don't have time for you. And she says, but no, I need to apologize. At which point Gio's like, uh-huh. So they have a sit down because, when you're working, you have plenty of time to sit down and talk to people. This is like the fourth time this week Gio has done this, but whatevs. And Lulu does apologize, and he's like, okay, it's not the best way for me to find out, but I'm glad I did. And, don't really worry about it. Ask her some more questions, get some information.
He figures out how she figured it out.
Yep. And he's like, okay. So he's slowly putting the pieces together, slowly understanding. Then Lulu, because she hasn't done enough damage.
Well, before you get into that, what I will say is I do appreciate how he asked, do you think that Gloria and Lois were trying to protect me? And Lulu said, I do think they were. They just took it too far.
Sure. I mean, Lulu was very honest with him, and I think she was very kind to him. I give her points for that. But again, she couldn't stay in the plus column. So she lets Gio know that his birthday's not his birthday. Again, totally accidental.
Which is what Lulu just giving all the accidentals, not thinking.
I mean, cheese on. And then Gio is stunned. He's a little bit angry. And she apologizes again. And he says, you know what? The delivery is crappy. But at least I know with you I'm getting the truth. Which hurts my heart a little bit because Lulu's not the messenger. I mean, really and truly, get your details from somebody else. Please. This is a mess. Messy enough that we know Brooklyn is off on the side. She's doing whatever she's doing with Marco. And now she's trying to find all the information she can about how Rocco was conceived and came to be. And so for those of you that missed this week's episodes, I'll go with spoiler alert, although it's historical. So Lulu and Dante had frozen an embryo.
Quite a few.
No, this was their last one.
No, because
something had happened with all the.
No, well, I mean in the sense of that they had frozen however many.
Not really relevant.
Maxie got pregnant with one, lost the baby, and ended up getting pregnant with Georgie, who they thought was theirs. That situation got resolved.
Right.
Then they tried again. That didn't work, and then
right.
Then they didn't want to try with the last one because they didn't want to risk it. So Britt took it.
So, which is really the relevant part of my story, is that Britt took their last viable embryo, impregnated herself, and along came Rocco. So Brooklyn is trying to find out all the story behind that because she wasn't around. So she's trying to find out the details about this. Now, Marco is a little bit reticent. He's like, what are you going to do with this information? Why do you
What
need
do you
to
want
know?
with a dead woman?
And she's like, you know what? My money, my business.
It's like, I just pay you to get me the information, and I will do with the information as I see it.
Exactly. So I'm just really hoping that she's not going to end up upending Rocco's life the way Gio's was. Like, I think that would really, really be a shame. And
also, I'm just like, as we know, 2 wrongs don't make a right, and this has to end. Like, someone has to be the bigger person and just end this feud and just not give in to the push and pull of it.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, I would wish for that person to be Brook Lynn, but right now I can understand why it's not, because she's like, you hurt my son and you're not grappling the not the consequences, but you're not grappling the information that is. It's like, we keep telling you, it's like, if someone hurt your kids, how would you feel? And Lulu keeps saying, not great. It's like, okay, so put that mindset on Brook Lynn, because that's what you did to Brook Lynn.
Yep.
And Lulu is just not
She's
understanding
like,
that.
I don't care. Brook Lynn deserves what she gets.
So I feel like and unfortunately, tit for tat, it's like,
yeah, it's just gonna be scorched earth, which is really too bad.
And I'm like, the cycle just needs to end. But
yeah. So I want to put a pin in that part of the story, because I definitely want to come back to that before the podcast is over, and I want to flip to the other side, because Lulu and Dante, as far as I'm concerned, are a perfect match, even though they're on the outs, because Dante was having his own little hissy fit over at the police station. Anna ended up putting him and Chase in a jail cell
after taking the guns,
for them to sort it out,
because we can't have a shootout in the police.
And Dante is just lashing into, like, verbally assaulting Chase about how he did him wrong. He's his best friend. He should have known to tell. And who cares that you took vows with your wife and that you leave and cleave? I don't care about any of that. You're my boy, and, doing that bros before whatever. Chase is like, nope. And then Dante's like, yeah, because of you, my relationship with my son is ruined. And Chase finally somebody says to him, Chase is like, excuse you?
You can put a lot of blame on me.
No, sir. Your relationship with your son is ruined because you don't know how to control your mouth. Kind of like how you're doing now.
And Dante looked at him with, like, he had 3 heads. Like, what the hell are you talking about?
Right. And Chase broke it down. And then all of a sudden, Dante was like, oh.
It's like, the whole Rocco getting alcohol poisoning thing? Yeah. You're laid into jail like he had, like he was a cockroach. Basically you kicked the kid when he was already down. You just kept kicking. And so if your relationship is in tatters, that's on you. You can't blame anybody but you. And if you want to repair that relationship, you have to put in the work. Not me, not my wife, not the great grandmother, not Lulu. You.
Yep. And Dante finally heard, and it's like, thank you. Yeah. About time. Holy moly!
It kept pissing me off that no one was bringing it up.
Right? And I like that Chase said, even your mother said you were out of order. So
it's like if Olivia's saying something.
Yep. Absolutely. So we have that. So if I want to come back to Brook Lynn and her research.
Before you go into that, I will say my mother did not intend to tell me this before the podcast, and I'm so glad she did tell me before the podcast.
You could wait till after I tell him, then you could.
Nope.
Give your.
Because if she had told me before this podcast, y'all would hear me crying on this podcast, and I was not gonna have it. You may continue.
You sure? Okay. So I have learned this week that Kelly Thibault is coming back to General Hospital. I'm so excited. This is the actress that played Britt. I wasn't sure who she was going to be. Can't say conclusively 100% who she's going to be playing, because as we know, Britt got killed off.
I'm still hoping it's Britt.
However, exactly, given the fact that they are looking into Britt, my inclination is just coming back as Britt, which hopefully brings Brad back too.
Which also hopefully brings back
Brett. Right? 3 for the price of 1. That would be fantastic and delightful.
And here's the thing. If they bring Britt back, if Portia loses her job as co-chief of staff,
bye.
Thank you. If Obrecht comes back, hopefully she can figure out what's going on with Willow. It also makes me think, imagine the reason why, and maybe Scott will come back because Obrecht is back. So maybe we'll get 4 for the price of 1.
Oh my gosh, right?
It's like, my
Obrecht will deal with Drew, and Drew will be out. Because Obrecht will deal with a body,
and also she knows about the manipulative ways because she was like that.
Yes.
So she would recognize.
Yes. Exactly.
She'll be like Willow. As someone who has done this and regrets doing it, especially to her daughter, I know the signs of when someone is manipulating someone else. I am sorry to say, but Drew is manipulating you. I am not saying this to hurt you. I am not saying this.
She's not going to tell Willow nothing. She's just going to deal with Drew. I'm here for it.
I will say this, though. I am curious because if they do bring...
Oh, that would be so cool.
If they do bring Britt back... One, I'm curious because we all know she died by the poison of a hook.
Yes.
So will they,
and she had Huntington's,
which is why I'm still wondering: will they still have her have Huntington's, or because I'm like it's a genealogy thing? So it's like
maybe there was something in the poison that reversed the Huntington's.
I don't know.
But
know. Also, if that is the case, and Obrecht has been off willy nilly doing her healing retreats, maybe that was a lie. Maybe that was a cover. Maybe
she had the body with her.
Maybe she had it frozen to keep it, and you know, it's like if we slow the brain down, we can preserve the brain function.
We know Obrecht has this kind of skills because that's how I believe Cesar came back, because we were all sure Cesar was dead, Faison, and Obrecht had dealings with that. Had him looking like Duke for a while, but anyway, I'm just saying.
I forgot about that, but yes,
the possibilities are there. With our soap twists and plot ridiculousness and blah, blah, blah.
Like I said, if my mother had told me this on the podcast, I was going to cry on
Listen, when I told... Because they flipped the picture and I was like, oh. And I don't know, I jumped or exclaimed or something. She's like, what was that about? And I was like, oh.
I'll tell you on the podcast.
And then she was like, no, tell me now. And so then I said...
No, you didn't tell me. It's like, I'm saving it for the podcast. It wasn't until Marco had said, what do you want with a dead woman? And we're like, Helena? But it can't be Helena. Why would they want something with Helena? Because Helena and Charlotte and that. Yeah. So that's what we thought. But then when Brook Lynn opened the file, yes, you had known, and we saw Britt, I'm like, okay, well, clearly it has to do with Rocco. But why Britt? Like, what do you want with a dead woman? And then you're like, well, and you told me. And oh my God.
It was like 5 minutes of big boo-hoo sobbing tears. It's just like, get a grip. But you know, Britt was cool when she left.
And I told Mom this. I'm like, when you introduce a character who is so dastardly, like Britt was a piece of work when she first came on the scene.
Yep.
Like she was rude, she was entitled, she was just all around evil. Okay. Mm-hmm. Especially to poor Sabrina, R.I.P. Like, and then like you write such a redemption arc for years. To redeem this character. Yep. And it is so smooth that you don't even realize you end up liking the character.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. How can you not cry? How can you not have boohoo tears and be excited for them to bring her back?
Well,
because
I wasn't that invested.
Because when Britt was actually on the force of good.
Yeah, she was. She was really good.
Same with Obrecht. Because Stan Obrecht, and then it's like you kind of... And then like, Obrecht is very manipulative and all this. You kind of felt sorry for Britt, which is what added to the redemption. It's like, oh, she's like this because of her mother. Yep. And then on top of that, it's like Faison and her mother in love with Faison and all of this. You're like, oh, this makes me feel sorry for her. And it's that feeling sorry for her that they were able to get the redemption in for you to let. And it's just like,
it was well done.
And then somehow they redeemed Obrecht. I don't even know how they redeemed her, but you're just like. Tell you, when the writers write a redemption arc, they write it good.
They do. I think they're... And what I'm also hoping is, so we said, okay, so Britt comes back. That brings Brad. That brings Obrecht.
Possibly
that brings Scotty. Spencer.
Now I just need Nathan. Nathan's been gone for so many years, but
I cannot see Nathan coming back. That one's a stretch.
That would be so interesting, though. Oh my goodness, yes.
See, and the other thing is, Nathan's not a Cassidyne.
No, so, but he is tied with Nina. He's tied with Obrecht. It's just like so many connections, and then it's like that. It's like that Spinelli and Nathan and Maxie triangle. It's like
I know. I don't see
because I love Spinelli, but I love Nathan more.
I don't see it.
And then Jason, and then Nathan can have his relationship with
James.
With James. I'd be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I might end up crying on podcast.
Oh my goodness. I don't see that. But I'm just saying.
I will say I'm so mad because Nathan left General Hospital to be a Hallmark boy.
Hey, look.
Nathan, how could
you? Get paid.
Nathan, how could you? I get it. I'm like you do have the face to be a Hallmark boy. But Nathan.
Hey, whatever. But I only want Spencer back if they bring back the same actor. I don't think that's going to happen. So
Who knows? Maybe they might bring back the original Spencer. I'm saying wouldn't that be funny? But also, I do need that whole. If they do bring Spencer back, that'll be interesting because then you have Trina and her love triangle.
Yes,
and it's like,
exactly,
well, let's see.
Because Kai needs to go.
Yeah,
you know, I know. I keep talking about.
And the turtle dove. It's like, you can't leave me with the turtle dove.
Right? Absolutely. The door is very much open for Spencer to come back. I'm sure he will come back at some point. It's just, you know, the same way we got such I hesitate to say that we got a notch up with the Michael recast, but Rory Gibson is killing it. Like, I have no complaint. Chad Duell was good.
I can't say that on the podcast.
He don't need to come back. Lulu, on the other hand, if you want to bring back the original Lulu, or original adult Lulu, I won't complain. This lady's good, but okay. If you left tomorrow, I don't think I would cry. Is all I'm saying. So, you know, you talk about bring back the original Nicholas. I like the new one better.
Well, technically, the original Nicholas is dead, so.
Excuse me, Spencer. I meant Spencer.
I was about to say, I'm like, the OG Nicholas.
Sorry, Tyler Christopher. Yes, I know. Sorry, I meant the original Spencer. You talk about, because his real name in life is Nicholas Bechtel. So that was my misspeak.
No, that's fine.
I haven't seen him act in a while, so I don't know how it goes. But
that's fine.
Anyways, that was my musings. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
We are just about at time, aren't we?
Yeah.
Any last thoughts?
No, just don't fail me. GH, don't fail me.
Right? And just in case it wasn't clear, my hero of the week was Chase.
Yeah.
For telling Dante about his mess with Gio.
My hero of the week was Brook Lynn for that beautiful, beautiful slap. It's like, when I tell y'all I need a slap, I mean it.
For real.
Though I will say this quickly because I had said that while I do enjoy the slap, I feel like that moment was more of a punch-worthy moment. And I told you this earlier. It's like, from Beyond the Gates, that very first episode when one of the main characters had punched another main character. Yeah. It's like that the slap and the punch could have been reversed for the show. It's like you could have punched out Lulu and slapped out the other girl.
Yeah.
So, but either way, when it comes to a punch or a slap, I will take it. I'm not opposed to a good slap / punch.
Right. Wow. Then, so you really enjoyed Nina nearly bludgeoning Carly with the candle holder?
Yeah, that was a bit too far.
Okay. There you go. All right.
I like my candles. Don't. Mm-hmm. But anyway.
Okay, I think that is all the news that's fit to speak about.
Yes. So everybody, please, we urge you, come back next week.
Yes.
For more soaps.
And a lot more sass.
This is Baby Sass and Mama Sass.
Bye-bye.